Hi, it's Maria
And okay.
from Still Dreaming Homestead. We're really glad to be back with you again this evening, but now it's time for a story. We're going to continue reading in our book, The Long Winter by Laura Ingalls Wilder. Now, I don't think you've been watching these videos, but these people are in a very, very cold winter and they were starving to death because they couldn't get any food into their town because there were so many blizzards. But now they were able to get some food. So we're going to read chapter 30, It Can't Beat Us. Winter had lasted so long that it seemed it would never end. It seemed that they would never really wake up. They were very tired because they were weak from lack of food. In the morning, Laura got out of bed in the cold. She dressed downstairs by the fire that Pa had kindled before he went out to the stable. Kindled means started the fire. They ate their coarse brown bread. Then all day long, she and Ma and Mary ground wheat and twisted hay as fast as they could. The fire must not go out. It was very cold. They ate some coarse brown bread. Then Laura crawled into the cold bed and shivered until she grew warm enough to sleep. Next morning, she got out of bed into the cold. She dressed in the chilly kitchen by the fire. She ate her coarse brown bread. She took her turn at grinding the wheat and twisting the hay.
Oh.
They were twisting hay because they didn't have any wood, so they were having to burn hay. But she did not ever feel really awake. She felt beaten by the cold and the storm. She knew she was dull and stupid, but she could not wake up. That's how she felt, was stupid. There were no more lessons. There was nothing in the world but cold and dark and work and coarse brown bread and winds blowing. The storm was always there, outside the walls, waiting sometimes, then pouncing, shaking the house, roaring and snarling and screaming in rage. Out of bed in the morning to hurry down and dress by the fire was the next thing that happened. Then work all day only to crawl back into the cold bed at night, quit touching your face, and fall asleep as soon as she grew warm. The winter had lasted so long. It would never end. Pa did not sing his trouble song in the mornings anymore. On clear days, he hauled hay. Sometimes a blizzard lasted only 2 days. There might be 3 days of clear cold, or even 4 before the blizzard struck again. We're outwearing it, Pa said. It hasn't got much more time. March is nearly gone. We can last longer than it can. The wheat is holding out, Ma said. I'm thankful for that. The end of March came. April began. Still the storm was there, waiting a little longer now, perhaps, but striking even more furiously. There was the bitter cold still, and the dark, stormy days, the wheat to be ground, the hay to be twisted. Laura seemed to have forgotten all about summer. She could not believe it would ever come again. April was going by. Is the hay holding out, Charles? Ma asked. Yes, thanks to Laura, Pa said. If you hadn't helped me with that haying, little half-pint, would not have put up enough hay. We would have run short before this. Those hot days of haying were far away now and long ago. Laura's gladness, because Pa said that, seemed far away too. Only the blizzard and the coffee mill grinding and the cold and the dusk darkening to night again seemed real. Laura and Ma were holding their stiff, swollen hands over the stove to keep them warm. Can you put your hands out like you were warming them over a stove? Yeah, raise them up where everybody can see. Yeah, up there. Ma was cutting the coarse brown bread for supper. The blizzard was loud and furious. It can't beat us, Pa said. Can't it, Pa? Laura asked. No, said Pa. It's got to quit sometime, and we don't. It can't lick us. We won't give up. Then Laura felt a warmth inside her. It was very small, but it was strong. It was steady like a tiny light in the dark, and it burned very low, but no winds could make it flicker because they would not give up. They ate the coarse brown bread and went through the dark, cold upstairs again. Shivering in the cold bed, Laura and Mary silently said their prayers and slowly grew warm enough so that they could sleep. Sometimes in the night, Laura heard the wind. It was still blowing furiously, but there were no voices, no howls or shrieks in it. And with it, there was another tiny, uncertain liquid sound that she couldn't even understand. Do you know what a liquid is?
Yeah. It's something that can spill really easy, and it's like it isn't solid, it isn't hard, it's like soft, really, really soft, that it's a liquid.
Okay, what are some things that are liquids?
Water, juice, milk.
Good. Thank you for describing that so well. She listened as hard as she could. She uncovered her ear to listen, and the cold did not bite her cheek. The dark was warmer. She put her hand and felt only coolness. The little sound that she heard was a trickling of water drops. The eaves were dripping. Then she knew. She sprang up out of bed and called aloud, Pa! Pa, the Chinook is blowing. I hear it, Laura, Pa answered from the other room. Spring has come. Go back to sleep. This is down a little too far. I hear it, Laura, Pa answered. In the other room, spring has come. Go back to sleep now. The Chinook was blowing. Spring had come. The blizzard had given up. It was driven back to the north. Blissfully, Laura stretched out of bed and put her hands on top of the quilts, and they were not very cold. She listened to the blowing wind and the dripping eaves, and she knew that in the other room, Pa was lying awake too, listening and glad. The Chinook, the wind of spring, was blowing. Winter had ended. In the morning, the snow was nearly gone. The frost was melted from the windows, and outdoors the air was soft and warm. Pa was whistling when he came in from doing chores. Do you know how to whistle? Can you do a fun whistle for us, Donna?
What?
You want to do a fun whistle for us? No, not loud, fun.
The bird?
Sure. That's my friend whistling. Well, girls, he said gaily, we beat old winter at last. Here it is spring, and none of us lost or starved or frozen. Anyway, not much frozen. And he felt tenderly at his nose. Does your nose get cold in the winter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like red.
I do believe it's longer, he said anxiously to Grace, and his eyes twinkled. He looked in the glass. It is longer and red, too. Stop worrying about your looks, Charles, Ma told him. Beauty is only skin deep. Come eat your breakfast. She was smiling, and Pa clucked her under the chin. It's like this. I lost my place. As he went to the table, Grace scampered to her chair and climbed into it laughing. Mary pushed her chair back from the stove. It's really too warm so close to the fire, she said. How marvelous it was that anybody could be too warm. Carrie could hardly leave the window. I like to see the water run, she explained. Laura said nothing. She was too happy. She could hardly believe that winter was gone, that spring had come. When Pa asked her why she was so silent, she answered soberly, I said it all last night. I should say you did, waking us all up from a sound sleep to tell us the wind was blowing, Pa teased her, as if the wind hadn't been blowing for months. I said the Chinook, Laura reminded him. That makes all the difference. They've made it through that freezing, freezing weather. I'm so glad. Well, it's Maria and
Octavia.
And we want to pray blessings on you and on yours, in your house and out of your house, in the day and the night. Whatever you do, keep dreaming.
And love you, danger. Love you,
enemies.
Enemies.
Yeah, love even your enemies. Good night. God bless you.